Long ago, in a peaceful kingdom surrounded by forests and silver rivers, there lived a young princess. She was gentle, thoughtful, and full of quiet strength. The people loved her, for she spoke kindly to servants and smiled warmly at strangers. But the day came when she was to leave her home. A distant prince had asked for her hand in marriage. It was a good match, a strong kingdom, a noble family. Yet, none of that made leaving easier. On the morning of her departure, the queen, her mother, walked with her into the palace garden. The sky was pale gold, and the roses still held the night's dew.
My dearest child, you are leaving as a princess, but you must also learn to be brave as a queen.
The princess tried to hold back her tears. The queen took a small white handkerchief from her sleeve. Pricking her finger gently, she let 3 drops of blood fall onto the cloth. She folded it carefully and placed it in her daughter's hand.
As long as you keep this close to your heart, my love and protection will remain with you.
Always.
The princess pressed the handkerchief against her chest, and then she mounted her horse. Her horse was named Falada. He was white as fresh snow and wise as the old trees. His dark eyes seemed to understand every word she spoke. Beside her rode her maid, a young woman chosen to attend her in the new kingdom. At first, the road was peaceful. They passed green meadows and sparkling streams. Villagers waved as the royal travelers rode by. But as the days stretched on, something began to change. The maid grew quiet, then cold, then bitter. She watched the princess with narrowed eyes. She is no better than I am. Why should she live in silk while I serve? Jealousy is a small seed, but if fed, it grows quickly. One afternoon, under a blazing sun, the princess felt faint with thirst.
Dear maid, could you fetch me some water from the stream?
The maid's voice turned sharp.
If you are thirsty, bend down and drink yourself.
The princess stared at her in shock. Never had her maid spoken so harshly. But she said nothing. She slid from Falada's back and knelt by the stream. As she leaned forward to drink, the white handkerchief slipped from her dress. It floated gently on the water. The princess gasped and reached for it, but the current carried it away. The 3 drops of blood disappeared beneath the surface, and with them, her mother's protection. Falada lowered his head sadly. He knew something had changed. The maid's eyes glittered.
Now take off your royal clothes.
The princess trembled.
You will give me your dress, your jewels, your horse. From this moment on, I am the princess, and you are nothing.
The princess's heart pounded. She was alone in a foreign land, no guards, no witnesses, and she had lost the handkerchief. Slowly, silently, she removed her crown, her silk gown, her golden chain. The maid dressed herself in royal splendor. Then she forced the true princess to swear never to reveal the truth.
If you speak, you will die.
I must stay silent or...
And so they continued the journey, one riding proudly in stolen glory, the other walking beside her own horse. When they reached the prince's kingdom, trumpets sounded. The young prince bowed before the false princess, believing her to be his bride. The true princess stood behind her, dressed as a servant. No one looked at her twice. But the maid felt uneasy. Falada still lived, and she feared the wise horse might reveal the truth. So she demanded that Falada be killed. The princess fell to her knees, "Please," she whispered, "spare him." But no one listened. Falada was slain. His head was nailed above the city gate, a cruel warning, a silent witness. The false princess soon complained.
This girl is useless, send her away. Even here, even in the palace, she would try to erase me.
So the true princess was given the lowest task. She became a goose girl. Each morning, she walked beyond the city walls with a flock of white geese and a young boy named Conrad. Her once silken hands now gathered feathers and scattered grain. Her golden hair shone like sunlight. When the wind blew, it wrapped around her like a living thing. Conrad often tried to grab her shining hair, but each time she whispered, "Blow, blow, gentle wind, carry Conrad's hat away." And the wind obeyed. Conrad would chase his hat across the meadow while she finished her work in peace. When she passed beneath the gate, she would look up at Falada's head and whisper,
Oh, Falada, if you could only speak. I read, bears tell me.
And from above, a strange voice answered, "If your mother knew your sorrow, her heart would surely break." Tears would fall down her cheeks, but still she remained silent. Conrad ran to the old king. He told him of the wind, the shining hair, the talking horse. The king listened carefully. The next day, he followed the goose girl in secret. He saw the wind answer her call. He heard her speak to Falada's head. That night, he found her weeping by the hearth.
Child, who are you?
I may a bound tongue, but
The king thought for a moment.
Then speak yours to the Isle Story. The king was with, once spoken, cannot be silenced.
Alone, believing no one listened, she knelt beside the stove, and she told everything. Her mother's gift, the lost handkerchief, the betrayal, the oath of silence, the death of Falada. Her voice trembled, but she spoke the truth. Hidden behind the wall, the king heard every word. The next day, the king dressed the goose girl in royal garments. She looked radiant, like the princess she truly was. The court gathered. The false princess stood beside the prince, unaware. The king asked calmly,
What punishment should be given to one who betrays her lady, steals her place, and lies to a kingdom?
She should be dragged away and punished severely. She spoke her own judgment, unaware it was herself she condemned.
The king's eyes were steady. So it shall be. The truth was revealed. The court gasped. The prince turned to the real princess, and this time he truly saw her. Justice was carried out, and the false princess's deceit ended forever. The princess married the prince, but more importantly, she found her voice again. She ruled with wisdom born from suffering. She listened to servants. She protected the weak. She remembered what it felt like to lose everything. And because of that, she became a queen not just by crown, but by heart. And so the story of the Goose Girl reminds us, even when truth is silenced, even when kindness is mistreated, the light within a pure heart cannot be hidden forever.